Welcome to this week's episode of the Aiming Five-Hole Podcast with Phil and Ryan, the All Four Nations episode. How you doing, Ryan? We're here.
We are here.
Break.
The Four Nations Face Off, which is kind of a funky name, is here. But name aside, and absolutely impenetrable rules regarding the standings aside, this couldn't be better. I am a lawyer by training, but I was reading the rules for like what happens in the event of a two-way tie, easy, three-way tie, four-way tie. Should it happen?
You got it all straight because they might have to call you.
I honestly don't understand it at all. I don't understand.
It's going to be a great week, though. What a week of hockey this is going to be. Best on best. Canada, U.S., Finland, Sweden. Look, I wish the Czechs and the Russians were there. I get why they're not. But this is going to be so much fun. Rosters are set now. Yep. Crosby is playing for Team Canada. Whatever injury seems to be ailing him, seems to be okay that he's playing, which is great news for Canada. The only replacement now U.S. had to make on the defensive side, with Hughes out, they named Jake Sanderson. I'm a little confused by that pick. Great, obviously, offensive defenseman, lacking big time defensively comparably to Hughes, but whatever. We can talk about that in a second.
Okay, so I'll tell you what.
We're going there first? Is that where we're going first?
Why don't we?
Where are we going first?
First of all, I want to address the elephant in the room. Yes. We're not going to be talking about the Maple Leafs. We are not going to be talking about the Montreal Canadiens. I could tell you that it's because we want to devote the entire 30 minutes of our podcast tonight to the Four Nations Face Off. But the truth of the matter is, I might get heartburn talking about the Habs, and I just don't want to do it. So
I'm letting you off the couch for this week. I'm letting you off the couch.
Yeah, the couch is being restuffed for my permanent place on it. So we're going to skip that topic this week.
And for this week, it's all fun. It's all about Team Canada this week.
Yeah. So let's talk about what we've seen in terms of injury replacements on all four teams. I'm going to make you handle Finland when we get to that.
No, you're not.
Yeah.
You're not even going there.
And then we're also going to talk about what we've seen in terms of lines in practice for Canada and the U.S., and what changes could be made from those lines depending on situational hockey. The power play.
To make some predictions on who's going to start in goal, because that was not part of any today's.
Yeah, so who's going to start in goal? And then odds and ends at the end. What are you looking forward to seeing? What do you think is going to happen?
Yeah, let's do it. This is going to be fun.
This is going to be fun.
Let's start with Team Canada, because that's obviously our bailiwick. Obviously, Drew Doughty replacing our good buddy from the Knights, Peter Angelo.
Yep.
There was no surprise there that Team Canada waited as long as they could this past weekend to name Doughty. They let him showcase last week if he could play. He played 25 minutes in the two games he played. In the two games he played last week. Obviously showcased that he's ready. We both said that he should be on this roster from the beginning. He was the easy pick for the brain trust of Canada to make. Look, I think that if he wasn't there, that the good Swede Aaron Ekblad should have been named to Team Canada. I'm not letting you off the hook with that one. But Aaron Ekblad would have been a great replacement. But obviously, Drew Doughty, he has done so much for this country in terms of World Cup of Hockey, Olympics, World Juniors, every step of the way. He's done what he could do to be a Canadian player, to do everything. They gave him the opportunity to showcase that he was healthy enough to play. He did it. He's on the team. Love it. So
yeah, I'm taking Doughty over Ekblad every day of the week.
But I would have taken Aaron Ekblad over Konechny. So, but whatever. Not Africa, over Sanheim. Sorry,
Travis. Fair enough.
But whatever. But you know what? Done is done. This is a strong team from top to bottom, which is great. And then the lines they announced today. How fun is this going to be? Reinhart, McDavid, Marner.
It's a pretty good line.
That's a pretty good line. guys that can pass the puck. You got some grit with Reinhardt playing with McDavid, and Marner is going to open up room for both of those guys. Marner's passing and McDavid's passing is out of this world. They are going to be so fun to watch together. Crosby and McKinnon and Stone. Again, two guys that can skate like the wind. You got some grit in Stone playing with McKinnon and Crosby. And we both knew, well, we didn't know. We always figured this is the first time that good buddies McKinnon and Crosby were going to be able to play together. It's the first time they'd be named to a team together. It doesn't surprise me they're on the line together. Like these two guys are Cole Harbor boys, best friends, everything. It doesn't surprise me if they're on a line together. And then talk about your checking third line, Marchand, Point, and Jarvis.
Yep.
They can score, they can irritate, they can do anything you want on the ice. They can pass, they can score.
They're a little small.
They're a little small, but they're going to be buzzards around the net and in the other zone, and they're going to piss the other team off big time. This is going to be the line they're going to put out every time they need some energy and they need something to happen. I think this is going to be the line to go. And then you got
I thought they were going to put Marchand and Bennett together for exactly that reason.
I thought so too, but I think that Hagel, Ciccarelli, and sorry, and Bennett too is kind of an interesting line as well. I think you had defensive line, agitators, guys who can skate, can score. Look at this is you can't argue. You could mix and match this.
Seriously, you could put all 12 of these guys in a blender, right?
You could just
4 good lines.
Exactly. But the one that I think is the least surprising in this mix is Crosby and McKinnon. Like these two were going to play together.
Yes.
Unless something happens, these two are going to play together as much as possible. Yes, but what?
Yes, but I would have liked to have seen, and remember, I was talking about McKinnon and NHS together because of the combined speed when that trade was done. By the way, that's worked out pretty well. But I mean, imagine a rink long rush with McDavid and McKinnon coming at you with a full head of steam. I mean,
I think that's still possible. I think that.
I mean, it'll be on the power play. You'll see it on the power play.
Yeah, but
the power play looks insane.
Look at this. So I think it's the lines maybe, as you say, go into a blender even during the game if they need something to happen. McDavid, McKinnon, Crosby out there together could be
three centers
out there. But look, you got Crosby and McKinnon. Even Stone, doesn't he play center too on the Knights? He plays center a lot too.
I think Stone's a winger.
Oh yeah, right. But you got McKinnon and Crosby, both centermen.
Yeah.
Because I would have loved to seen Point in that mix somewhere. He's, you have Marchand too. I think it's just going to be fun. Again, we could play amateur coach here and make, like you say, mix and match these things and come up with something different. And I think any way you put them together, at this point, until you see them together, it's not wrong.
Yeah, that's true. It's true. You could say the same thing about the defense pairings too, right?
Yeah, I think Tags and Makar are natural. They play together.
They play together.
Colorado, Morrissey and Parenko.
Still some offensive ability, but with strong defensive presence.
Yeah.
Theodore and Doughty are wild cards. They're just great all-around hockey players.
And I think Doughty is not that much of a different player than Pietrangelo, right? He's offensive, defensive, experienced. So him and Theodore should be great together, right?
Yeah.
In all essences, and it's not surprising that Sanheim on this lineup is the odd man out at the moment. And look, he'll likely get in there at some point, as will Konecny on the offensive side. But again, you can mix and match this, but we said from the beginning, Tags and Makar were going to play together. They play together on Colorado. It's a natural. It's why Theodore and Pietrangelo were named. They played together.
Yeah.
Fortunately, Pietrangelo's not ready to go, so you add in Doughty, again, experienced guy. It's hard to argue there, putting those two together, and that's where you slot them in.
The thing I like about Team Canada generally is you've got one immensely experienced international player on both forward and defense in Crosby and Doughty.
Yeah,
like you've got two legends of modern Canadian hockey
No
that
question.
can lead this team in a short tournament. Now the question is, who you gonna start in goal?
Yeah, yeah. Look, no question is that the biggest question mark on this team is netminder. Now, what goaltender has been the hottest of of the three going into this game, into this first game on Wednesday? I guess
Well,
from practices, that's the only thing that didn't sort of come to light out of what we saw today from the first set of practices was who was the goaltender that sort of wore the main, I don't know what main net you call it, whatever you call it, when they do these practices and stuff, like whatever shirts they were wearing and stuff.
yep.
But is it Bennington because of his Stanley Cup pedigree? Is it Aiden Hill? I don't know. I would the only one I would be really surprised at starting in the net right now on Wednesday, and I'm sorry to say this is Sam Montembeault. I'll be
Well,
shocked if he's the starting
here's the
goaltender on
wild card
Wednesday.
with that, though. Here's the wild card with that, Phil. They're playing their first game in Montreal,
No question. No question. I knew you were going to say that.
right? Like at some point, I mean, look, they're obviously for that reason not obligated to give him a start, but at the same time, if they get through their first game with either Hill or Binnington, and it's not, the pressure seems to get to them. They say, well, wait a second. Montebo won a world championship overseas. He'd be playing in front of his hometown crowd. Like, maybe that's the least risky way of doing it at that point. But I certainly don't think he gets to start in game one.
Yeah.
I think they give it to Binnington.
Uh,
He's been the, let's face it, right? Like you're saying, who's been the, as the kids say these days, who's been the least mid goalie in like since January?
yeah.
And I think you've got to go with Binnington on that. I don't think Aiden Hill's been fantastic.
No, I think unfortunately coming into the series, let's start with Montembeault. The Canadians, I don't think he started all three of these, but they're 2-7-1 coming in, lost three in a row. Bennington's been in net, no, sorry, Montembeault's been in net for a lot of that,
Yep.
unfortunately. So, I don't know how to go that way. The Knights haven't exactly lit it up either. They've won two in a row, but they're 4-3-3. They've not lit it up either. And Aiden Hill's being the starting goaltender, not in all of those, but again, a lot of it. And St. Louis has gone into a bit of a slump as well. They're 3-6-1. They've won one in a row. So Bennington's not there's not one of these three goaltenders that's riding a high right now.
No,
So
you are picking one of the three, and you are praying.
yes. Yes. So you have to hope, and I think you're right. I think I wouldn't be shocked if it's Aiden Hill, but I'll be a little surprised if it's not Bennington.
Yep.
But
Yep.
who knows? We'll see. Again, I'm still shocked that Logan Thompson wasn't named on this team. It's also shocking a little bit that's come out that it's seemingly, if you believe some of the rumors out there, it's that the coaches didn't really love him from a player in the room perspective. They didn't have a good experience with him
Hmm.
in Vegas. I don't know if that's true, and we're playing a little bit of rumor mill here, but
Who
that's
cares, man? He's playing his
yeah,
head off.
yeah, exactly, and then, we can move to, the other thing that came out today. Again, I hope Sweden, Finland, and US don't take, and then this goes for probably all three teams.
Don't take penalties.
Don't take penalties because then you're going to have McDavid, Reinhart, McKinnon, Crosby, and McCarr on the first power play unit.
That's
Like,
insane.
can these guys? The only thing I hope that doesn't happen is you got three or four guys here. Oh, four guys. All five guys can wield this puck around like a biscuit on a string, and I just hope they don't pass the puck too much. Right? You
Well,
want pucks going through the net.
what I would, the funny thing is, yes, I agree that could be a problem. Given the fact that these teams have not practiced a power play for very long, or a penalty kill for very long, what I expect to see, especially from McKinnon and McDavid, is a lot of skating with the puck, a lot of circling the net, a lot of circling the zone, getting defensemen to move around,
Yes.
freeing up the other players to like just cause a little bit of chaos with the puck as they skate around. Because if they dish it off to somebody like McCarr or Crosby, they're going to find the next open man, and that next open man is going to be wide open.
Yes. Well, I think that's the biggest striking thing on this power play is that if you watch the Oilers and you watch the Avalanche, to your point, McDavid and McKinnon play the player very similar. They're always moving. They're always moving at a high rate of speed. They're moving around the zone like
If they can
bugs in
figure
the
out how to do
water.
that
Just
together, it could be the most exciting power play in the
oh,
history of hockey.
I can't wait for the first penalty. I'm gonna like get on the ice, throw a banana, and let somebody trip and call a penalty. Let's see what happens. But it's gonna be exciting. So
Yeah.
let's move on from Team Canada for a second. We can't be homers the whole time.
Yeah, we'll talk
Talk a
about
little bit
USA.
US.
By the
Let's
way, in the interest of full disclosure, I am a dual citizen, but I will be rooting hard for Canada. A, because it's the country of my birth, and B, because it'll be a cold day in hell before I root for a team with one Kachuk on it, let alone two.
You couldn't have said any better than me. As you know, I'm a dual citizen as well now, but I bleed red and white. I've said this my whole life. My wife and my kids get mad at me because of that. They're all dual citizens as well. But I will be wearing my Team Canada colors with pride this whole time. And right, I can't, in all good faith, ever root for Kachuk, let alone two.
If a Kachuk ever ends up on the Canadians, I'm a Kings fan.
There you go. But how about again, these lines, Connor, Eichel, Matthew Tkachuk, Gensel, Matthews, Hughes, Brady Tkachuk, Miller, Bolby,
Matthew
Nelson,
Boldy.
no, Nelson, Krocek, and Larkin. Again,
Yep.
four lines that could be magical in terms of how they work together.
Yeah.
Eichel and
Yeah.
Connor and Kachuk, you're going to have a guy in Kachuk that is the biggest pest in hockey right now, standing in front of the net while Eichel and Connor are moving the puck around.
Yeah. Oh, that third line, JT Miller and Brady Kachuk together is going to be
Yeah.
not only annoying, but big and annoying.
Yes. Yeah, and Bowlby is no slouch in terms of skating ability. He can skate. That guy can
Yep.
he can wield the puck. He can go.
Oh, Boldy's fantastic. He's a good,
Yeah.
great young player.
And they got look at
Minnesota's got a good one
the
there.
second line to me is almost the best line. Gensel, Matthews, and Hughes.
Well, the interesting thing with that line is that Hughes has two of the better shooters in the game to get the puck to. Like, what's interesting is like they have the first line is really interesting because you've got Matthew Kachuk, who's sort of a possession driver. He can finish obviously, but he's a possession driver. He hits, he protects the puck.
Yeah.
They've got a finisher in Connor, and they've got a mate like an all-around great center in Jack Eichel who can shoot, who can pass,
Right.
who can protect the puck almost as well as anybody in the league. The second line, you've got two shooters and a phenomenal setup guy who can also obviously score a lot of goals as well. You
Yep.
don't have that same kind of possession grit that you have on the first line, but still an amazing line. The third line is like that's your crash bang,
Oh
but
yeah.
line that can still skate
And can
and
still score.
and can still score.
Yeah.
I think the fourth line is where the U.S. has a bit of a disadvantage vis-a-vis Canada.
Were you surprised that Kreider
Chris
was the
Kreider.
rotating guy versus Brock Nelson? Because to me that was a little bit of a surprise.
I think Brock Nelson is a better defensive player.
Yeah, there you go.
They got enough guys on this team that can
Arguably, yeah.
score the puck.
Yeah.
Then you look at their defensive pairings.
Well, before we get into the
Okay.
pairings, let's
Okay.
talk about the big elephant in the room for the US. They were the healthiest team going into this thing. Unfortunately, this weekend, the older brother Quinn Hughes,
Yep.
comes up with an injury, and they name Jake Sanderson from Ottawa to the defensive pair here.
Yep.
To me, look at obviously Sanderson is a quality offensive defenseman, but right now his line is, I think what did I say was 15, 35, 50 points overall. I think I wrote to you.
But he's minus 15.
But he's minus 15, comparable to Hughes, who is a plus 15. So you know what? You look at this lineup and I almost want to say, hey, look at um, did they make the right pick for what they needed on the defensive side? You've got Slavin and Fox, who are, Fox obviously highly offensive. You got Werenski, who's having the season of his
Who's
life.
everything.
Who's having the season of his life. You know, Hannafin has some offensive ability as well. But they had enough offensive talent on the defensive side. Do they need another offensive defenseman versus bringing in someone like, and I'll say it because I'm the homer here. I'm from Toronto. Jake McCabe, who's having an awesome season. He's meant everything to the Leafs when he's out of the lineup, we lose. When he's in the lineup, we win. He can bang. He can defensively play. He can kill the power play. He's not the most offensive guy, but he's had some offensive moments. I don't know. I think he would have been my pick.
Maybe they should have pulled Chris Chelios out. He's still in shape.
He would have bored everybody to death.
Well, not if he's skating. He
Yeah,
can't be
no, none of
skating
he's
and talking
skating.
at the same time.
None of his skating. Now, what's interesting is we didn't hear anything news about their power play, but can we play amateur coach here? And who's your first?
Sure.
Who's your first? Who's your first lineup on power play? I'm putting Matthews at center, and I'm going
I
with
think
and I'm going Connor on one of the wings, and I'm doing Hughes on the other wing. And then you've
okay.
got Fox as the first defenseman, and if you're going with four forwards, uh, do you put Kachuk out there? Or you put Gensel out there? Matthew Kachuk or Gensel?
It's a really good question.
Like that to me, that's again,
It's a really good.
you
Like
need
if you've
somebody
got
for net
Matthews
front.
out,
You need net front presence, right? So I
yeah,
think it's Kachuk.
I think you put Matthew Kachuk out there
Yeah, I agree.
and
And
just let
again,
him crash.
you need net front presence, right? You need someone standing in front that's going to take the abuse, someone that's going to
Yep.
bang and whack and do the dirty work, and he can score. Let's be honest. I don't like him, but he can score, and he's going to be a great player. But
Yeah, he can get some dirty stuff in front. That's for sure.
and then when it comes to goaltending, again, they still
Well, it's
have
Hellebuck.
it's Hellebuck. It's
It's
got to be
Hellebuck.
Hellebuck. If it's anybody but Hellebuck on Thursday night when they play Finland,
If anybody other than Hellebuck plays in this tournament for the United States, it's bad news for the Winnipeg Jets because it means Hellebuck's hurt.
or he's played lousy, yes, and it's still bad news for them.
Yeah.
But yes, I agree. It's Hellebuck until he can't until someone breaks his leg.
Yep.
Let's hope that doesn't happen. He's a great goaltender. I'd like to see the Jets win the Stanley Cup, but
Yep.
whatever.
Yep.
It's got to be Hellebuck. It's Hellebuck all day long.
Yep.
So, those are Team Canada and US. We didn't get any news. I didn't see it anyways. Out of Finland and Sweden, what their lineups were. We could
Oh
probably,
yeah, I haven't seen anything on lineups, but we can talk about their injury replacements.
yeah, we could if we can
I'm
pronounce
gonna
their
make you go
names.
to Finland.
I'm not. I can't do Finland. These three guys, Urho, Vekinen,
Vakanainen and Jokiharju.
Henri Goharchu, and the other guy who has. I just can't say it. I just can't do it.
Okay, so you can talk about the players they replaced though.
Yes.
So because they're easier to pronounce and they're great players. One of them's a Leaf.
Yes.
So
Well, it wasn't hard to.
I think this
Hakanpää wasn't hard. It's not surprising Hakanpää's not there because he hasn't played much. He's played one game this season, so
yeah
unfortunately,
he's a it's unfortunate for him. But Heiskanen is
Heskinen's a big loss for them on the
big
point.
law.
There's
I
no
don't
question.
see I don't see Finland competing.
You think they're the
that
whipping boy?
well.
You think they're the whipping boys of this tournament, right? You
I think
thinking
they're
they're
going to
bringing
get.
it?
I mean, look, they're not terrible.
They're not terrible. There's no terrible
They're
team
not.
here.
Yeah, they're
You
like,
got
but like
Sebastian Aho. You got Patrick Laine.
uh,
They got Armia. They got. This is not a
yeah,
bad
they got
lineup.
Laine, Lehkonen,
Ratnanen is
Luosterainen,
healthy, so
Rantanen,
Ratnanen is
Teravainen. Like
playing.
they've got
Teravainen,
some
like this is,
flash.
yeah, they can score the goal. They can
Yeah,
score goals.
but
Their
they are
problem
weak on the
is
back end,
they're
and they're
weak on
going
the
to need.
back end, and they're going to need their goaltenders to stand on their head. So who's playing net? Who's starting in net? Is it Saros?
Saros.
Saros has to be your starter, right? But he's not
Saros
had a
is
good season. If
yeah,
anything, you got to say of this team right now, the Vancouver goal, Kevin Lankinen is probably playing the best out of the three of them. He just stole the game on the Leafs on the weekend.
yep,
If you're going with hot goaltender right now, he's the guy. So I won't be surprised on Thursday night when they play the US if he's the goaltender. If it's Saros, I won't be surprised. but if it's lacking in either, I'm not surprised there either. So I think those two could be 1A and 1B just because of who's going in healthy and who's going in a little bit on a healthy mix at the moment.
Okay. And then
Great.
Sweden, Carlson is hurt, so Ricard Raquel is taking his place, and Markstrom is hurt, which is a
Yep.
huge, huge
Huge
loss.
loss. Huge loss. But look, you still got Linus Allmark there, and he's had some injury problems too.
Picking
Seemingly
it
like
up
he's
though.
healthy, picking it up. So I think I'll be shocked if Allmark is not in the net on Wednesday night versus Team Canada. I will be
Yeah. They
surprised.
have a really good blue line.
You got a great blue line, and they got some guys who can score up front.
Yep.
Yeah. You don't want to go up with Hedman, Darlene,
By the way, you have
Ekholm.
Lucas
Um,
Raymond,
I,
Kempe's got these perennial, like they've got some.
I hate to say it, their weakest point on the blue line right now, especially defensively, is Eric Carlson.
Yeah, and he can score.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
who's riding the bench? Who's not getting in the lineup on this defense right now?
Anderson.
You think it's Anderson?
Yeah, it's either Anderson or Brodin.
Yeah, I would have
Yeah.
said Brodin. I would have said Brodin, but you can't argue either way there. But they
By
can
the way,
score.
Lucas Raymond is my anti-Aaron Ekblad. I thought he was Canadian.
There you go. Um,
Yeah,
but again, on forward, again, guys that can put the puck in the net. Some
I
guys
think
that
I think you
aren't
got
so
to
hot
put.
right now, though. And as was Benachat has picked it up with TJ Brody. Raquel is a replacement.
Could be really interesting to see Philip Forsberg play with Kempe and Nylander. I think that could be a dangerous, dangerous line.
Yep. Yep. No, look at they got some guys who can put the puck in the net. There's no
Yeah,
question.
for sure.
Yeah, it's a strong team. I
Yep,
think they're going to give Canada some trouble on Wednesday night. I think it's going to be a really fun game to watch.
yep. It's going to be a fun tournament. It's
No
going to
question.
be it's going to be a real fun tournament. I like the 10-minute 3-on-3 overtime if it goes
Yeah.
into a tie.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I love the fact that if you go to the championship game, they play it like the playoffs. Overtime
So
goes until someone scores.
I say give us a Canada US overtime game again.
It'd be so much fun.
We
It'd be
said
so much fun.
I think I called that when we talked about this the last time when we said who was going to pick it so we can go there. If it's
Okay.
going, I have to call Canada US in the final. I'm just that homer guy.
Yep.
I
Okay.
think US is way too deep. I think that even with Hughes out, they've got the goaltending, they got the forward lines, they can score. Defense maybe not as strong as their forward lines, but when you got Hellebuck in net, you can't argue with the best goaltender on the planet right now. So I think Canada US final, and I'd love to see. I could see it like the last three times these two teams have gone to a final, going to overtime. I think, sorry, the last two times. So this could be the third in a row, an overtime Team
Yeah.
Canada US final. That's what
Yeah.
I'm calling. Canada in overtime, second overtime at that.
Okay. Um, I come at this from a slightly different perspective. Uh, my last direct experience of international hockey was the Olympics in Turin in 2006 when Canada did not make the medal round. I'm also stained by this year's World Junior fiasco and last year's World Junior
So
fiasco.
you're not calling Canada in the final?
I think US beats Sweden in the final.
Wow. Is that blasphemy?
Um,
I can't say that you're wrong because it absolutely could happen. And
it
Wednesday
break
night,
my heart,
we
but
might find out Wednesday night might be the decider who goes to the final.
it could be. It could
Because
be.
to go to your point right now, if all three of them beat Finland and Finland goes 0-3, let's just play that out right now. And let's just say it comes down to then you got each of the three of them beating each other. Which way does it go? You got Canada because the Sweden game's first, then it really might mean if let's just say Canada loses on Wednesday night and that happens, they've got to beat the US on Saturday night.
For sure. Or they don't make the final.
Or they don't make the final. They go
Yeah.
0-2 to start with, they're out.
Well, if you're 1-2, they're out. Even if,
Right.
yeah, I mean, you go 0-2, you got to go 2-1 to make the final. I think.
Right. So you got to think you got to beat Finland and either US and Sweden, right?
Yep.
And then same for Sweden's going to beat Finland. If they think that, let's just say the US is going 3-0, then it's coming down to the first game Wednesday, Canada versus Sweden, to see who
Yeah.
goes to the final, which
Yeah.
would be a really ironic way to start the series. That we can't say that, but Canada could beat the US. I'm not saying they're not going to, but that those two games, we're going to play those two games first for
And
Canada.
that, yeah,
Those are going to be big games, and because I think that is the
is that the
order of
order
the
of
play, right?
operations?
Let me just make sure. I don't want to speak. I might have said something stupid and wrong, but I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Canada, Sweden on Wednesday. Thursday is US, Finland.
Yep.
Friday,
There's
no,
nothing Friday. Saturday.
Saturday is Finland, Sweden, Canada, US. And
Yep.
then Canada, Finland plays on Monday.
Yep.
So that game might be meaningless. Or if Canada has beaten Sweden or Finland, it also could mean they need to beat Finland to go to the final.
Yeah.
And they
Yep.
knock out.
There's a lot that can happen in this tournament.
Yeah.
And here's another reason why there's a lot that can happen in this tournament. We've been talking about the players, blah, 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 blah. The strength of the power play and the lines that they've drawn out. These guys ain't practicing for squat. Like they're getting in a couple of practices here and there. This is, this isn't like the World Junior
No, they're
Championships.
feeling each other out. They're getting used to each
Yeah,
other.
like
They're going on instinct.
There is a crapshoot element to this when when these guys are not formed teams.
Huge.
So that's that. This is, by the way, all the way of me sort of hedging my bets on them. It's like literally anything can happen other than Finland winning this tournament.
I love how we've just put Finland and put them in a box. It's just like
they're just
world-class team,
just,
and we've gone, eh.
Yeah. If Jussi Saros was actually Connor Hellebuck,
Yeah,
I might, you never know who's going to steal a series, but like, I thought I'd steal a tournament, but man,
but to your point, that's a little bit, I think, why when you see the formulation of these lines, especially in defensive pairs for Team Canada, you're seeing, because they're really just feeling each other. They're getting two practices in Monday, Tuesday before they get on the ice on Wednesday. They might do a day skate on Wednesday, but at that point, it's really, keeping the body loose and whatnot. They're trying to put guys that can mix. They're trying to feel out who would work well together. You got passers playing with other good passers, guys who can move and skate. You got Reinhardt. Let's not say that he's a skater like McDavid and Marner.
No, but
he's not. But he's a good skater. But he's
a
a smart player and he's a good player and he can go to the net. And you got two guys that can just move the puck and skate. McDavid, no one can keep up with that guy other than maybe McKinnon. But it's just good. I'm so excited. I can't wait till Wednesday night. So
yeah, it's going to be great. So one final question from me. Yes. I'm assuming you've seen everything that's available to be seen in terms of materials. So that includes the uniforms.
Yes.
How do you rank the uniforms?
How do I rank the uniforms? You know what? Team Canada comes out with a new uniform every year. The black and red has become our symbol. I can't go again. I love the Team Canada logo.
The black outline on the maple leaf with Canada written across.
I like it.
It feels very retro. I love it. They're getting my number 1 ranking.
Yeah. I don't love the US one, to be honest with you.
That's my number 4 ranking.
Yeah, I don't love the US one, to be completely honest with you. I'm just trying to go and look at it again. Yeah, I don't love it. It's kind of boring.
I like the Sweden uniform. I always like the Sweden uniform.
I always like the Sweden look. I agree with you. I think the Sweden uniform always seems to be interesting. And they could go different ways with the 3 crowns versus the 1 crown.
Yep.
So yeah, I give them number 2 and I give Finland number 3.
Finland made some bold choices. They made it a very modern looking. It almost looks like a Winnipeg Jets uniform, but I like it. I think the US gets last place.
Yeah, just the USA thing just doesn't work. I think it's a little boring.
Well, it also looks sort of like cheesy and a little like fake metallic with the gray on the USA. Like I'm not a huge fan of that one. Yeah. So I'm going to go Canada, Sweden, Finland, US. It sounds like you're in agreement.
I think I'm in total agreement with you, and that won't be the standings. That won't be the finish here, but let's cross our fingers for a great tournament. I think it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. We've been waiting for best on best for a while, so let's go. Let's get done.
I'm looking forward to our next episode where we can
Yes.
talk about where everybody's sitting in the standings
Yeah.
and our impressions of the tournament so far. It's gonna be a ton of fun.
Yeah, we'll have to do one. Like we waited an extra day here to make sure we had all the lineups. So sorry to our 15 fans that had to wait an extra day for this.
Yes,
We wanted to make sure the lineups were settled before we did this. So I was to say we're probably going to wait again till Monday night next week because we'll have to wait till the final stands and we know who's in the final because we won't
that's
know.
right.
We possibly won't know till Monday night after the Team Canada's Finland game.
Finals
We
preview.
might know before that, but that we might not know until Monday night. So right now, if you're listening and you want to wait till our next episode, it'll probably be released next Tuesday before the final.
That's right. That's right. So here's to, our first best on best tournament, what feels like, I don't know, 67 years or something like that. And, it's going to be great.
Awesome. We'll be talking a lot over the course of the next week on text, and go Canada, go.
Go Canada, go.
See you later. Have a good one. I'm so excited. Talk to you soon.
Talk to you.